After much thought and a lot of back and forth in his mind, Len made a decision. He was going to enter the Murmura Organization. There were 100 floors in the building, and he had no idea what awaited him. But one thing was clear. His mom's hospital bills weren't going to pay themselves. Len entered the building and headed straight to the reception on the first floor. He was ready for answers, but what he got wasn't quite what he expected. The receptionist, in her calm, robotic voice, didn't even look up from her desk as she handed him a slip of paper and said, "Go to the 26th floor. That's where you'll find the information you seek." 26th floor? Sure, why not? Len muttered to himself as he took the elevator, trying to hide the unease creeping up his spine. At the 26th floor, he was greeted by another person who, without missing a beat, told him, "You'll need to meet the third person to your left." Len stared blankly for a second. The third person to my left, he thought? It felt like some sort of twisted scavenger hunt. But hey, when you're desperate, you roll with it. So to his left, Len went, and there she was, sitting like she was waiting for him all along. The third person, as it turned out, was an old lady. Who knew? Len walked over, greeted her, and nervously explained why he was there. The lady didn't say much at all, just nodded quietly and handed him a contract. A contract that, as Len scanned it, promised that the Murmura Organization would take care of his mother's hospital fees. But of course there was a catch. Oh, there was always a catch. The contract laid out the deal. Len had to venture into some mysterious forest to find a place called the Gold Castle. Whatever he found there, well, that belonged to the Murmura Organization. And if anything happened to him, even if he died, that was on him. No one, not even his mom, could ever know about the organization or the forest. And if he broke any of those rules, they'd stop covering his mom's medical expenses. It was a lot to take in. Len stood there reading the fine print. It seemed insane, but his mom's bills were getting out of hand. So with a heavy heart and a touch of doubt, he signed it. With the contract signed, the old lady led Len to the elevator and pressed the number 90. Up they went. When the doors opened, Len could hardly believe his eyes. The place was a whirlwind of activity, people moving around like they were in a spy movie, working on, well, Len had no idea. But it was intense. He felt completely out of place. The old lady led him to a room marked Equipment. The name alone made Len's stomach do flips. He stepped inside, and that's when the real weirdness started. She handed him a bundle of items, another contract, just in case he forgot the first one, a map, a stunning outfit, shoes, a watch, a phone, and a bag. Len stared at the gear. Was he preparing for a hike or the adventure of a lifetime? First up, the contract. "Don't lose this," she warned. Yeah, as if he could forget that. Then the map. The old lady explained it wasn't an exact map, but one they had pieced together from previous explorers. So no pressure, right? Len tried to keep his face neutral, but the words "updated map" rang in his ears like a warning bell. Next, the outfit. "This is for the forest," she said matter-of-factly, as if he was going to the grocery store. Len took a long look at the dress, which honestly looked more fit for a high-end adventure. Well, it's stylish, he thought, though he wasn't sure if he was supposed to wear it for the forest or a fashion show. And then came the shoes. These weren't just any shoes. Oh no, these had advanced technology. They could make him fly for 10 minutes, after which he'd need to charge them. Oh, and there were knives built into the front and back, because why not? And the laces? They turned into swords, no big deal. Len stood there trying to process it all, but did anyone ever really need flying shoes with sword laces? The watch? It tracked his location, showed him the direction, and could even send emergency updates. A life-saving tool, or just another gadget to make his head spin. The phone? Oh, it was specially made for this mission. And no, he couldn't use his own phone in the forest. Apparently, the forest had a nasty habit of wrecking regular phones. Finally, the bag. The one thing that didn't sound totally bonkers. It could hold whatever he wanted, but it wouldn't get any heavier. He could carry a 100-pound rock in it, and it'd still feel like nothing. Magic bag, Len thought, raising an eyebrow. But here's the real twist. Len was told he had to pick an assistant. The old lady led him to another room where 7 colors were waiting. Len, of course, picked green. Why? Well, why not? Green's nice, right? The old lady told him the assistant would be revealed once he entered the forest. Len's eyes narrowed. This whole thing is getting weirder by the second. And then, just when Len thought he might escape the madness, the old lady hit him with the final instructions. Come back Tuesday at 10 p.m. to the 28th floor, she said. That's when everything would kick off. Len left the building, still trying to wrap his head around what had just happened. He checked the time on his phone. It was still Monday. That gave him Tuesday and Wednesday to spend with his mom before he had to face whatever bizarre mission awaited him. So, he sold everything he had. Computers, watches, shoes, basically anything that might get him a bit of cash. Then he spent time with his mom, knowing this was the last bit of normal before everything went sideways. The night before he left, Len told his mom he was going to visit his uncle for money. She wasn't convinced, of course, but she still worried for him. He's not going to help you, she said, but Len had made up his mind. Wednesday came and went, spent with his friends, handing them all the money he'd made, and then finally the day arrived. Thursday, the day Len would head into the forest, the day he would disappear into the unknown. At 8 p.m., his alarm went off. The time had come. He visited his mom one last time. Tears were in her eyes, but she told him, "Take care of yourself." And so with a final heavy heart, Len left the hospital. He was ready to face whatever this crazy adventure had in store. He took the phone, called the old lady, and said one simple thing. "I'm ready." And with that, Len's journey into the mysterious forest and the unknown was about to begin. But what will happen next? Will Len survive the forest? What surprises does the Murmura Organization have in store for him? Until then, wait for the next episode. Hey everyone, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Animistik Tales for more exciting stories that will help you improve your English. While you're here, we'd love to hear from you. In the comments, let us know if you enjoyed today's story and what words were tricky for you to pronounce. Were there any words you didn't understand? Feel free to ask about their meanings. Also, tell us a little bit about your journey with English. Why are you learning it? What motivates you, and how long have you been practicing? We'd love to know how we can support you in your learning. That's all for this week. But don't go too far. Stay tuned for the next episode of Whispers of the Forest, coming next Sunday at 8 p.m. You won't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week with more stories. Take care and keep learning.